For more on the story, let's bring in DA Davidson, Head of Technology Research, Gil Luria. Gil, great to see you.
Good to see you.
This is obviously a report. We don't really know anything definitively. At the same time, if you're an Apple investor who is losing faith in Apple's, AI ability, should this give you comfort that they are looking and plotting a plan B, so to speak?
Absolutely. They need to have a better model in order to facilitate Siri. Clearly, the efforts to do that in-house have gotten them nowhere. The technology is available. The models work great. They work great in the apps. If you use the ChatGPT app, you can have a conversation there. And so there's no reason for Apple not to integrate this. They still own the consumer. They still own the relationship. They're still going to get paid for it. And this way, they don't have to invest those tens of billions of dollars to develop a model in what's an increasingly complex and competitive space. Let's not forget there's 4 American companies racing for the best AI models and another 4 Chinese companies racing to have the best AI model. Why would Apple want to jump into that race when they own the consumer and they can just pick and choose the best model at any given point to provide the better AI product?
Let's say they form some sort of partnership and they have a Siri AI agent that's amazing. Is that going to power the supercycle that so many people were hoping for? Does that sort of reignite hopes for that?
It has to be one element. Consumers are starting to notice the AI capabilities in the iPhone, the notifications, the email summary. I don't know if you've noticed, but you could actually start recording your phone calls and getting a transcript now if you have a newer iPhone. These capabilities do matter to consumers, but instead of the big bang that we are expecting a year ago from Worldwide Developer Conference of all these capabilities coming in at once, they're coming in gradually. Consumers are appreciating them, and they can only be used on the newer phones. So we're not going to get a super cycle, but we may still get an upgrade cycle with iPhone 17, maybe next year. And that's all that drives Apple stock, really, is if we get an iPhone upgrade cycle at any point. So these capabilities will help. They're just coming in a lot more gradually than we originally anticipated.
Hey, Gil, Tim, I think it's, Apple's AI capability to knock to there was none. And I think this is great news. What's interesting to me, though, this is coming on a day when Apple loses a chance to dismiss an antitrust case. So in Apple of yesteryear, today's news is it's obvious. It's Apple's consumer to own, and you're going to pay us to be part of this, and we're going to dominate, and we're going to kick you out. Today's news combined with the dismissal really means not that, it's a done deal, but it means antitrust is a much bigger issue for Apple, and status quo of Apple controlling the consumer might be in question. So your thoughts on that?
That actually, I would say that Google is the loser here, right? Remember, we just talked about the parallel between using Google and Safari as the default, and now we're going to have maybe OpenAI in Siri as a default. And we mentioned that Google wasn't even in the running. The reason they're not in the running is because of these antitrust concerns. The antitrust concerns were about the partnership between Apple and Google, and because Google has dragged its feet and hasn't resolved this, Apple can't go to Google for Siri because that would extend that non-competitive relationship. So they're really the loser here. Apple, by working with other partners, can then go to regulators and say, see how we play nice? We have a lot of different partners. We pick and choose. We move around between them. We let the consumer pick. That'll appease regulators while Google is still stuck trying to fight regulators.